The No Child Left Behind Act was implemented with good intentions, aiming to raise achievement in America's public schools while also decreasing the achievement gap. Though, at first, the act found success, recently it has become increasingly obvious that not only are its goals unrealistic, but also that the policy has spawned a range of unintended consequences that are deteriorating America's education system from the inside out.
So the principle behind the No Child Left Behind Act is to set high standards, believe every child can learn, and measure to see if we're getting results.
Yet, the results that Bush and the White House expected have yet to appear. The act is generally regarded as a failure, and the only question that's left is how to fix our education system. Our country is now conflicted, unable to decide what must be done to change the deteriorating state of our schools. This topic has become increasingly controversial in American politics as it deals with the most important commodity America has, our children, and therefore our future. One of the largest debates involving No Child Left Behind revolves around the funding provided to schools. While the act imposes dozens of new standards, the financial support provided is generally less than 10% of most schools' budgets. It is largely noted that while the goals and requirements of No Child Left Behind are designed to set schools in the right direction, it does not give schools the practical means by which to follow them.
If in fact you think that you are ever going to have reform without resources, it's not going to happen.
Yet, is the amount of funding the issue, or is it how schools spend that funding?
Is that of the $10,000 that we're spending per child, actually only about half of it is going into the classroom where we think it's going to have the most impact. The rest of it is going to these other things.
The controversy then lies in who should be charged with improving the budget. Should the government increase public school funding and decrease funding in other necessary areas? Or should schools be charged with using their own finances in a more responsible manner? While the No Child Left Behind Act has put great pressure on schools to succeed, it has also been said to degrade the quality of education that our children are receiving. Currently, it is up to the state to create their own tests to evaluate proficiency in mathematics, reading, and writing. Yet each state's proficiency mark ranges, leading to one of the largest sources of controversy surrounding the act.
It is a lie that's designed to keep schools and districts out of trouble while not having to actually educate kids any better.
States that set high proficiency marks often have the most failing schools, while states that purposely set a below basic mark are considered more successful, even if their students are nowhere near proficient. In general, high-achieving students are ignored because focusing on these students does nothing to improve a school's scores. While the numbers show that our students are improving, it is being suggested that low proficiency standards are creating a false hope for success. Now, we as a country are faced with deciding another way in which to measure our progress, one which also helps identify students who require special attention. While many continue to be proponents of straightforward multiple-choice proficiency testing, others argue for new, more comprehensive ways in which to evaluate our students. It is generally agreed that one of the most devastating consequences of the No Child Left Behind Act is its effect on curriculum. Schools focus on math, reading, and writing, while ignoring history, the arts, foreign language, and other important subjects. Educators teach the test, and oftentimes fail to prepare students for the workforce or for college.
Students are achieving bare minimum and not thinking for themselves because teachers tell them, do this, do this, do this, don't need to know this for the test, so don't worry about it.
And the result is that we are educating people out of their creative capacities.
The question then comes down to who, exactly, should be charged with deciding curriculum. The policymakers, who provide much of the funding to schools, or the teachers, who have personal interaction with the students on a day-to-day basis. Under the No Child Left Behind Act, schools that do require improvement are actually being punished for their low test scores, instead of being given the help and support that they need. Qualified teachers rarely want to teach at a failing school. Instead, new, underpaid teachers staff the nation's lowest achieving schools, while the experienced teachers are allowed to transfer. Also, schools that do not meet No Child Left Behind standards have their already slim funding taken away.
The worst thing it does is it takes districts and schools that are not doing well, takes their funds away, penalizes them. If a school is not doing well, we help that school.
Eventually, if schools fail to meet standards, they are closed down, which leads to overcrowding in surrounding schools. While some still agree that shutting schools down and firing teachers is the correct method, others insist that failing schools must be given help, not punishments, which waste the already dwindling resources of the school. Because of the punitive aspects of the act, low-scoring, impoverished schools have an incentive to get rid of students who lower the average test score. In some areas, because of the pressure put on schools to succeed, students are intentionally held back, suspended, expelled, or advised to drop out to raise test scores. Obviously, our current method of evaluating the progress of our schools is only serving to hurt those children that truly need our help. The heart of the conflict over No Child Left Behind is its failure to increase equality in public education.
Is that we don't have good schools, public schools for all kids. A U.S. Senator can get his kid into a terrific public school. That's not the question. The question is whether or not ordinary parents who can't work the system are able to get their kids into a decent school.
Yet, how to achieve this desired equality in the public education system is an extreme source of controversy in America. Some propose similar methods to those used by the No Child Left Behind Act, treating all schools in the same manner. However, others disagree and note that in order to achieve an equal education system, schools must first be treated on an individual basis. Fundamental problems with the No Child Left Behind Act harm schools, teachers, students, and ultimately the future of America's youth. Every school is different, and therefore requires different treatment when it comes to initiating improvement. The way that No Child Left Behind groups all schools into the same category is the source of its failure. Despite the controversy currently surrounding public education, we believe that combining a few simple aspects drawn from a multitude of educational programs can provide a basis for what America's public schools should strive to become. Successful education programs are specifically tailored to a school, taking into account location, its culture, and the abilities of its students. Only by considering these three aspects are the programs successful. But there is a general pattern which could be followed in an attempt to improve our overall education system, simply by separating schools by economic status. Research has found that in poorer areas, charter schools have shown the highest rate of success, especially for students with learning disabilities. These schools are able to give students more personal attention and support outside the classroom. Also, charter schools have fewer restrictions than general public schools, and are therefore more able to give a wide range of support to their students. New initiatives have already been attempted in more affluent areas, where access to technology is readily available. Khan Academy, an online resource for more than 20 subjects, has been integrated into curriculum in a movement called Flipping the Classroom. Students watch lectures on their website at home and do what will be traditionally considered homework in the classroom the next day. This way, the teacher can keep track of which students are struggling in which particular subjects and can provide help and encouragement during school hours.
My mom, she went to school in Mexico. Some things she can explain to me, but some she can't. So I take long to try to finish my homework.
How did you used to do in math?
Pretty bad, at a 3rd grade level math. So, Khan Academy has helped me. It's like open doors that I couldn't open. It's helped me a lot.
The No Child Left Behind Act has divided America over how to educate its youth. The controversy lies not only over the effectiveness of the act, but also over how to improve it down the road. It is going to be a difficult process, but America has no choice but to arrive at some conclusion immediately. Otherwise, we will risk not only our children's education, but the future of our nation as a whole.